Revealing the first writer's hidden formats in 1 Samuel. This will be part 1. And what I need to do is pull it up. For those of you who have been around, the blue text I've been over so many times. To speed this up, I just put above me the reasons why I'm removing the blue text. Now, the formats that I'm looking for, if you're new here, let me show you those when they look cleaned up. This is what they look like when they're cleaned up. This is a 4-verse, and then you'll see down here, whoops, there's quite a bit of 4-verse here, and then you'll find a 3-verse format. And what I'm trying to do is, if you do Psalms, you'll find that there's many different formats in Psalms. But the main one that you'll find is that there's 2 major words and then the least amount of smallest words to connect them to make a format. And these here are a format which actually makes a small paragraph. Now, these paragraphs, a lot of times 2 of them together will make a larger paragraph. And these are pieces that I found, so I will get to that a little later. But what I want to do is get back to the text here and say that the yellow text, highlighted text, is text that I'm needing to improve this word. Say that I have this word here that with a / I'm changing it to this word here, from this word to this word. Now, when I have gray highlighted text like this, that means I'm adding it to complete the knowledge that's needed for the verse here. For example, our creator tells us that 1 male and 1 female become one, and that's his will for the way a male and a female live together as married. Now, there is another law, and that is if his brother dies, that the next brother is to take a wife, and that way she can give birth to a son, and then her and the son take off, and then the land that the son had becomes his son's, or his name is still passed on through his son. So for to live in Israel as an inheritance law. Now, that's why I've had to add this here in this text. Now, to put in order correctly, I had to use, Hannah is the woman that's husband has died, so she should be mentioned second. So I'm using his wife was this woman, and his brother had died, and to obey his law, he married Hannah. So you can see that I'm switching these two to be the correct order. Now, when you see the green highlighted text with a / I'm changing this word to this name. And as you can see up here is his name, but I have shortened it up. And so when I'm using it here, because I'm pretty much adding it, it should have been yellow. That shows that text is being added, but is being added and reduced to a correct name, easier for us to pronounce. Now, this worship and to sacrifice, this is wrong. A sacrifice is the animal that's brought forth for a sin offering. And that sin offering is then sacrificed, and then the muscles are removed, and that becomes the offering to our Creator for the sin offering. Now, if you don't know what a sin is, there are 12 commandments, and these are needed to have a sin offering. So now you found out that there's actually 12 commandments if you've ever studied Exodus 21 verses 1 through 20. Now, here where I'm adding the blue or the green highlighted word, these are small minimum words to complete the verses and removing the other words that I don't need. Now here, I'm having to have his highest priest. Now, our Creator has his highest priest, and then the other priests will be labeled as high priest, as you can see here. And I should have used this. Oh, these are bad guys. So I've used a smaller one. But the high priests are here because later in the text, there are going to be priests, and they're going to be designated as like the teacher at a synagogue. So I've had to designate the differences when you're reading the text. The priests that are working in the house for our Creator or the tent for our Creator have to have this label of a highest and higher and high priest. So that's why I'm adding the word high or highest here. And as you can see, I've shortened up their names. Again, I've shortened up his name and gave his portion. Now, there is no such thing as a portion. See, the sacrifice and gave his portion. There's no such thing as that. So I've had to say that there's a donation now at this time. The text does not reflect any of this knowledge of when the donation was there, a donation box to help for the repairs for his tent. But at this time, I'm needing to put this donation in here because there has to be a reason what this text is actually presenting. Because to give his portion, what is his portion? It's not in the text to be able to be said what it is or what it isn't. I'm just telling you that there's going to be a donation box, and we learned that from Jesus this time. So let me see what the word portion is. Now, I have a program that allows me to search the text for the word. Example, if I click on the word portion, you can see it here in the Hebrew side. These are Strong's Concordance, but New American Standard changed a lot of the words to own the copyrights to be able to publish this. And then down here is in the parentheses how many times they use this English word when this word appears in the Hebrew text. So as you can see, it's used as portion, but it's not really the truth here. So what I have to do is come up with a word that makes reasonable sense. And this double portion would be the double donation, because Hannah had no son yet. I had to add why she is wanting a son in the story, and also the reason that our Creator had closed her womb from her existence of her husband, and he had to have died for I got Elka as the name of the husband now, or her husband, to give her a son. And so the story here of Hannah is very important, and we have to understand had no son yet, because she is to live with him until she has a son, and then they leave to become to to go work the land for his brother, and have his inheritance and his name continue on in the lineage for the inheritance land that our Creator has promised them. That's also known as the Promised Land. And now, this text, because it's a different font size, you'll see that I have it at a 9 font size, and I've got some of these in gray. This means that this I can make meet the format, but when I put the verses together as I showed you, that this text does not is not needed. So this is one way of me showing that yes, there's a format, and yes, it's not needed when the text is compiled. I'm having to add the words "this time" in the story of why Hannah is now going to her high priest, okay? And Eli here, I have him as a high priest, which means he isn't the highest priest. Now, what happens in Samuel in 1 is that there are judges, and then there's going to become kings. We have no list of judges other than Moses and Joshua. And I'm looking for my list on kings to show you that the text is missing. Okay, it's up here, and I have to, where is it? Sorry about that, but this is the list of kings, and what you'll see here is that the story is now about Samuel, and he's going to be our last judge, but Eli was a judge. But there's these, what I'm estimating is about 300 years of judges is missing, because we go from Joshua to Eli. And a lot of the story that you're going to start reading in Samuel shows that there is a separation of tribes from Israel leaving and not really obeying our Creator, and there's no stories from the time that Joshua passes out the promised land to Eli. Now, let me get back here to what I'm speaking about. Where's the tribes? Nope, maybe that's back where I was at. Okay, now this is the time that shows that Joshua had divided the promised land. Okay, and now what we have when it starts, now I got to go back to Kings. We really are starting here in with Eli, and this is the Philistines had come back into and conquered the land here for Judah. And this is where we're going to start seeing battles take place, that the Philistines are coming up and going to try to go into Simon and try to go into Judah and take land. But this knowledge of this area, there's no saying or no text to show why this has happened. But it does also explain in Eli that they're stopped following our Creator like they did when they were in the promised land. That being said, gives you an idea where the text is starting at here. And I've got Eli as the high priest right now, and we don't know who the highest priest is. And the highest priest, when they retire, actually become a judge. Okay, that's the way it is passed on somehow, but we don't know that. But the text implies this. As you'll see later, it talks about Eli being a judge. So at a certain point here, right now he's a high priest because he's sitting by the fence, not the doorpost, and it's not a temple for YV. This is because actually it is a tent. So this here word is absolutely added text by people that don't understand the tent for meeting and why they sat where they were to sit around the tent. When our Creator told them to travel from the Sinai into the Promised Land, he had them camp by birth order, and then they were that place where they knew that they were camping there, those became the seats around the tent for meeting, where once the Promised Land was established, if you were a tribe, say from Ephraim, you would end up going to this location and know that the priest that's sitting in that seat is the priest you're supposed to be making your offering to. So it has to be that he's sitting by a fence, because he is actually representing, let's see if the text is up here where it says that he is from. He'll comfort of inference. Okay. So now we have, let's see, this information. What we know is from here. And we know that the tent is by Shiloh. The tent is not in Shiloh itself. Shiloh is a city which the priests live in. There's also an inn for people when they're coming to make an offering. There's most likely a market. So this is a very large city. And then the tent would be probably, I would say, a half mile away from there. Because when they're burning meat, it's not a quite beautiful odor. So they have to be away from there and make it separate. So I don't know which area that is around Shiloh, but you now understand what Shiloh is in the area, because this city right here is going to be mentioned where Samuel is from. But right now, the story does not tell us. It's just that he's from Ephraim's area or land. So what she is doing now is she's waiting to talk to him, and she prayed quietly to Wyvie. Then she made a vow to Wyvie. Now, the word prayed means that she's talking to our Creator. A petition means that you're asking our Creator. So a lot of people don't understand the difference, because today people are not taught the correct words for the correct meanings of the words that are being used in the text. Example, if you were to pray, the word pray means the action that you're in. Either you're kneeling and talking to our Creator, or you're standing with your arms out and praying, or pray. That's the word pray means that the word prayed is now the words that you're speaking to our Creator. But here the word is vow. A vow is special. The words that you promise to our Creator are a vow. And this is why this is a capital V. It's very special. It has extra meaning that she has to fulfill what she is saying to our Creator. And what she's asking for, not my affliction, but what she wants, and that is to remember to give your maidservant a son. Now, when I try to tell people how they understood how birth happens, our Creator has to send a soul, and she's asking for a male soul to join a male seed within her to create a child. It's very important that you understand that. That is conception for them at this time. So this is what she wants, because if you read the story, you'll see that's what she's worried about. And that's why she's also trying to fulfill the law that our Creator has sent down about marrying her brothers to have this son for him. This text is not needed. It doesn't fit the format. And she continued vowing before our Creator. And Eli wasn't watching, but he looked, because he's taking care of the people that are standing in line that are coming to him from Ephraim. And so now that he's gone, she's vowing still. So you can understand that her eyes are closed. She's not really seeing him. She's trying to make it personal between her and our Creator, even though it's in front of the priest and other people are in line. So, and he thought she was drunk. Why have you made yourself drunk? You're not to drink and come to me. So this text I'm adding to fill the format, and it's pretty much logically what he would be saying here. Not that you're supposed to put your wine away. That doesn't have anything to do with why have you made yourself drunk. There's words that have to be more strenuous here to let her know that I don't do this if you're drunk. So, because if he's implying that she's drunk, he would not honor the request from a drunk. Okay, drunks by law, if they drink too much, our Creator has given them a law to kill a drunkard. So he would have been refusing that person. So this is kind of implied in this, these words here, and these are the two major words that I'm using to complete the verse to make the format. And then she says, I have not drank wine. I am vowing, not poured out my soul, because we know above that she is vowing to our Creator, asking him for a son. And we don't have all of her vow here at this time. That's explained a little bit farther down in the text. But here, I want to show you that in the next cleanup, what I did was I tried to show you the Hebrew word for these words or titles. Example, if I click on the word Lord here, and being it's all capital, we have our Creator's name. This is 117, so if I go here to 117, and let's see, the title is God, we have the word Elohim, and then you can see how many times it's used, and you can see that a shrine is rulers, mighty, judges. So this shows you that they did not keep to the word's truest meaning, which is a great lesson to know that every word in the Bible is not the truth. They've actually fudged in words to mean other things. Example, divine being, divine, but it is godly, great, judges. It just doesn't make sense. Now, when I began this, I tried to go back and use every word that way, and I really have, it can't be done. It just can't be done. So those that were editing the manuscripts were really corrupt at that time, and it just, they did so much destruction to the text, it's not funny. What we have is just pieces that I can prove that they had started with this formats, and then they've added all this other text over time. Example, even today, there are so many Bibles, and by laws of the secular world, they must change words in there to own the copyright. I don't know if it's 5% or 10% of the Bible, but there's 39 groups out there. They don't really care about correcting the text. They're all adding their own words. Now, when they add a word to that year of the text, New American Standard shows it as italic. And what I've done is I've made sure that that word is colored, so we know, or you would know that that is an added word at this time in 1977. So over time, probably from 1977 to today, they probably added over 15,000 words to the text that were not there to begin with. But at some time they were adding whole verses when you see these formats. Relations. I use the word married as sharing their love. And then she conceived and birthed a male, not just a son, but a male. When I'm correcting the text like this, there is going to be a list that tells you the difference in why when she is pregnant, it's a baby. They don't know whether it's male or female. When the baby is born, that's fine to be said, and then it's kind of whether it's male or female. Now, up to the time that they're weaned, then I think they become a boy or a girl. The wordings change. And as they get older, they're young male or female. And then after they're married, they become women or men. So that's the order of the words that I'm trying to make sure that I'm using is correctly. So when you do a search, that you actually get the truths of that word meaning, as well as understanding the age of the child that's being talked about. Having to add the word when to complete the verse here, even though I've got two yellows, and sometimes if I was to do this without this word, these words would be gray and then all highlighted. So with the family to celebrate. Now, there is a reason for why everyone is supposed to go to the tent for meeting, that is to celebrate his passing over. That is a statute. There are, I think, two statutes for the people and a third statute for the high priest, or for the priest. They need to be anointed to enter into the tent or into the house. That is a lot different, is a law. These are mandatory. So they wouldn't go up there just to offer. When they're making an offering, that is a sin offering. The text that you're used to reading, there's several different offerings, and none of that makes sense, because when you look at the text, our Creator has designed his tent to make these sin offerings, which are the commandments, to be forgiven. To be forgiven means that you can actually live in Israel. You aren't kicked out of the nation Israel. And it's pretty much then relating to how you enter into heaven. So all the sacrifice to the offering and everything that's done in the tent for meeting or the house for meeting is all based on making atonement for your not obeying the 12 commandments, and for you to actually end up in heaven. At first, our Creator's promises don't go that way. He changes his promises over time. But to understand his everlasting promises, when you understand how he changes his promises, that is why you enter into heaven. Here's the text here that, like I said, when I'm going to use it, I will change it like this. I'm going to use these words that they had added. It seems that it fits very nicely for the format. And I will bring him, I will surrender him. This was the best word I could come up with at this time, because she's going to give him to stay there by YHVH. Forever, that's the word forever can't be used that way here. So I have to get rid of that word forever, but to stay there by YHVH. So the thing here is the word surrender is the most truthful word I can come up with for the text at this time. A lot of these words I will not be, or I will still edit them all the way to the end of this text. So, as you know, these formats, which will be compiled into a book, will not be overweighing our Creator's hidden formats. Our Creator's hidden formats are definitely done by rules, and those rules make it empirical evidence that his message to you in can be repeatable. The formats here, I have a lot of leeway to make up the formats. So these are secondary. They're kind of like aids to help understand some of the texts that are in our creator's hidden formats that people might need help understanding. Remain at home, and only YV can confirm, but is actually a judgment call by our creator. And it's not his house yet. Again, his house is not built yet, so it has to be tent, not a bull, but a ram. I don't use the word sheep. I use the word ram because it's a male, and all male seed shows that by lineage, the Hebrews would write that a daughter is from a male. So I've changed the word sheep to ram or rams, and that's why I use the word ram. I'm getting to my 40-minute limit here, so I'm looking to see here. She reminds them that you thought I was drunk, so this I'm adding because it's something that he would have remembered, possibly. In front of you, not beside you, but in front of you. It would have been that line that I said that the people are there. So I'm not using words here that aren't just picked just to put something there. I try to make sure that reasoning out and then figuring out the best logical, truthful word I can use is how I do these. For my husband, this is her again reminding of why she is the second wife from Elka, and not for this boy, but for a son. I could have used the word boy at this time because he is young, but the law states son, so I'm using the word son instead of boy. And has granted me my vow. Now YV has granted me his son that I asked him for. And here we're finding out that she vowed to him that as long as he lives, he will be dedicated to YV and for him to be near YV. Okay. I still have some time. Rejoice in thy salvation. The word salvation is being used wrong here. And down here, it says, brings me down to Sheol and raises up. Now this, I put that there because it should go like this. But what I want to do is say he does not do this. This is a reincarnation that they're putting in the text. But the thing here is Sheol is also known as the abyss. It's when our Creator asked Cain after he killed his brother Abel, that Abel is calling to him from the abyss. They try to use this Sheol as almost like a city within the abyss, but this really should be the abyss and then raises up. This is not truthful. And he will thunder in the heavens. This is just ridiculous text being put in, not understanding our Creator. Lived, I have the word ministered here. I removed the word minister because he cannot do that. Samuel is not a true Levite, so he cannot actually be ministered to him for our Creator to actually walk into the holy rooms and ask for forgiveness. Now, Samuel is given leeway. For some reason, he is to be able to offer a peace offering to our Creator. And that will come up in the text later. And I will explain what a peace offering is, because it's very important that you understand what a peace offering is, because Jesus becomes a peace offering. And people have that so wrong today that it's not funny. It's really a deception put on by people that don't understand the text. Now, or the way of life that our Creator had his nation live by. So I'm going to stop at this verse, and then I'm going to continue here in the next video.